Hey guys, what's up? MMA Savant here. I'm going to be doing a quick breakdown of the who and the how of my predictions for UFC 195. It's going to be headlined by Carlos Condit, is going to be taking on Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler is, of course, the current champion at 170. Carlos Condit is the contender. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Here's the who and the how. I have not done all the fights yet on the card, or I'm not going to do all the fights, just the ones that I find the most intriguing. So with that being said, we have Joe Soto is taking on Tanaka, and Tanaka is he's a decent fighter. He's got a lot of wins and everything, but nobody of Joe Soto's caliber. Joe Soto is a former champion over at Bellator, I believe. And he was doing very well against Joe Warren until Joe Warren ended up getting the win over him. And he did lose to Anthony Burchak by knockout in the first round. That's not a mark on, or a knock on Joe Soto. That might be a telling of what's a possible prospect for Anthony Burchak. Anyway, but the thing I want to talk about is Joe Soto was in the EBI 4 grappling competition, submission only. That's the Eddie Bravo Invitational. And he was on the bracket. I remember I saw his name on there, but I didn't really pay attention to him. He ends up getting past Joao Miao and getting past Gio Martinez to make it all the way to the finals against Eddie Cummings, where he lost by, I believe it was a heel hook. So his grappling is top notch, and the submissions are top notch. He might have actually went against Barrett Yoshida also. I don't remember, but so with that being said, I'm gonna go with Joe Soto. God damn it. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. That didn't work out too well. There we go. I'm going to go with Joe Soto by stoppage, maybe a submission over Tanaka. Okay, next up we have Dustin Poirier taking on Joe Duffy. Dustin Poirier is, in my opinion, he's good. He's very well-rounded. And I don't want to call him a gatekeeper, but I'm going to call him the first step of the upper echelon guys. And he does everything pretty well, but he doesn't do anything spectacular. Using MMA math, you would say that Joe Duffy's going to beat him because he beat Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor beat Dustin Poirier, but you really can't do that. But I am going to go with Joe Duffy on this one because I think his boxing is going to be too much, and he also does everything equally as well. But I think he's got more of a backing, and he's taking less shots, and he's got less miles than Dustin Poirier does. Okay, moving on. Abel Trujillo is going to be taking on Tony Sims. And Tony Sims is he's 12-3-0. He does have 10 wins by knockout. He's a 7-time Iowa State boxing champion. And he's 5'11", which is pretty tall for the division. But you know what? I'm doing this all from memory, guys, so don't worry about the other pictures. I don't need that. He's a 7-time Iowa State boxing champion, and he's a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He does train out in Colorado, where he trains alongside, and I believe he works alongside with former heavyweight Shane Carwin. So he's got good cardio, but his last fight was a loss to Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He got out-grappled, lost by decision. And then before that, he fought the Creepy Weasel, Steve Montgomery, which is, it's a win. But I watched some of his videos so I could come in here with an educated background on who I'm talking about. And he takes a lot of chances. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Abel Trujillo. He's out of the Blackzilians. He's a 4-time NAIA All-American in wrestling. And his debut was against a guy named Marcus Levasseur. And some of you guys might remember him, but Marcus Levasseur was a collegiate wrestling superstar. He, sorry guys, I'm still trying to learn how to make videos. I'm pretty new to this. What he did, he went 155-0 in collegiate wrestling. The only man to ever do that besides him was Cael Sanderson, who went on to win a gold medal in wrestling. Anyway, Abel Trujillo beat that guy, and the beating him was due to knees to the body, but it was his takedown defense and his composure in his debut. And he had good cardio. It went all the way to the late in the second round, I believe. It's been a few years since I saw the video. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go with Abel Trujillo by ground and pound against Tony Sims. And Abel Trujillo does have submissions. He's got submissions and knockouts and everything. But I remember he had Marcus Levasseur in a bulldog choke, almost looked like a no-arm north-south choke. So he does go for things, and he has knockouts. He knocked out Jamie Varner. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to start rambling here. Next up, we have Trujillo. Michael McDonald is taking on Kanahara. Kanahara has more fights, but McDonald's a bigger name. Kanahara did go, he does have a 2009 decision victory over Korean Zombie, but Michael McDonald's only lost to Henan Barrow and Uriah Faber at 35. He's had a long layoff due to an injury, and I feel like this is his welcome back fight or whatever. Now, with that being said, I have Michael McDonald to get it done by knockout. Okay, moving on. We have Diego Brandao is taking on Brian Ortega. And Brian Ortega, his last fight was against Thiago Tavares. And that's a fight that Ortega asked for to really test his mettle. Thiago Tavares is a hard call-out for anybody. He's tall for the division. I think he's about 5'10". He's a black belt under Henner and Huron Gracie. Diego Brandao is also a black belt with a lot more mileage. But I feel like Diego Brandao will get submitted in this fight. Maybe true to his nickname, T-City. I think he'll submit him with a triangle. So, moving on. Albert Tumanov is taking on Lorenz Larkin. Albert Tumanov looked fantastic in his last fight against Alan Jouban. He stopped him with strikes. He put a pace on him. He was aggressive, and he was relentless. Lorenz Larkin is a guy that I almost forget he's out there, because he's a great striker, and he's definitely good enough to be in the UFC. I'm not debating that. I just, I don't want to dog the guy, but I feel like he's almost like a filler for a lot of fights. I'm not calling him a can by any means, but with that being said, I'm going to go with Albert Tumanov. TKO. Okay, moving on. Stipe Miocic is going to take on Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski is coming off a win over Frank Mir. It was very boring, but before that, he had an awesome fight against Travis Brown, where he stopped him in the first round. It was a fun fight. It could have been fight of the year, most likely heavyweight fight of the year. And he's doing this thing. I don't know if or Mike Winklejohn taught it to him or how he learned it, but he's doing this thing where he'll throw his hands, right? So let's say he throws the right cross, pow, right? And then if it hits, fine. But if Travis Brown slips it, he comes back with the backhand. Or if it hits, he'll hit him. So he'll set it up off the jab, pow, pow, right? Hit him, and then come back with the backhand. That's going to be Andrei Arlovski's secret weapon here. Well, not secret, but I don't think Stipe's had time to train for that yet. Because why would you? It's very rare. But anyway, now Stipe has only lost to JDS by decision. And a long time ago, he was knocked out by Stefan Struve. Other than that, he's got a great record, including a beating over Mark Hunt. And the win over, I'm sorry, the loss to JDS, it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't dominant. It was, both men took a beating in that fight. So anyway, I'm gonna have to go play it safe here. I'm gonna go Stipe by decision, maybe knockout, no submission. TKO. Maybe a stoppage due to strikes, but most likely a decision. And it's very easy to say that, oh, well, he outboxed Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt is 5'10", and the best I can remember, he didn't really touch Stipe's chin at all. So Andrei Arlovski is a 6'4" Belarusian fighter with much larger reach than Mark Hunt. So we really haven't been able to tell, but I'm going to go with Stipe Miocic by decision. Okay, moving on to the main event of the evening, we have Carlos Condit is the challenger against Robbie Lawler. Carlos Condit might win in the versatility and submissions column, but it's not going to be enough against Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler is like fighting a tank or a tree or something. It's, I have Robbie Lawler to win this fight, ground and pound, maybe a knockout over Carlos Condit. I'm not going to call any fight a lock because I called the last card a lock with Overeem to lose to JDS, and I was very wrong on that one. So, but I'm fairly confident that unless he plays it safe like he did against Nick Diaz, and outpoint him and everything, and not be willing to engage, I don't see the judges. I don't see Robbie Lawler losing this fight. I like Carlos Condit; he's very exciting, and everything, but Robbie Lawler won't stand for point fighting and screwing around in the octagon. If you want to play around, he'll just chase you down and beat the crap out of you. So with that being said, and also he comes off a knee injury off a fight he was losing against Tyron Woodley, and he stops Thiago Alves. But this is Thiago Alves after brain surgery and after all that stuff that went wrong with him. So I don't know. I feel like Robbie Lawler gets this done without question. So to recap, I'm gonna go through the video. I'm gonna go through my picks one last time, so you can. God damn it. Let's see. So I have Joe Soto to stop Tanaka, Joe Duffy to stop Dustin Poirier. April Trujillo is going to stop Wes Sims. I mean, not Wes Sims. Sorry. Tony Sims, not Wes Sims. Michael McDonald knocks out Kanahara. Brian Ortega, T-City, Triangle City, that's what they call him. That's what his nickname is, guys. Is going to stop Diego Brandao by Triangle. I see it coming. Albert Einstein Tumanov is going to stop Lorenz Larkin. Miocic will decision Arlovsky. And Lawler stops Condit. Fight of the night will be Condit Lawler and Diego Brandao against Brian Ortega. And Joe Duffy will be the star of the show. Because now you'll start to see all you'll start to see how good Joe Duffy's striking and his boxing really is. Anyway, so this fight is on Fight Pass. It's a headlining for Fight Pass. I've had Fight Pass for a few years now. This isn't a product placement or anything, but I don't know why anybody who's a true fight fan doesn't have it. It's $10 a month, and you can literally watch every UFC, Pride, Affliction, Invicta. What was that one with all the teams? IFL, Strikeforce, not Bellator. A bunch of other promotions, fights, the entire catalog. Plus, they're really starting to put more exciting fights on it, including the next fight coming up on Fight Pass. The next main event is going to be Anderson Silva taking on Michael Bisping. And co-maining that fight is going to be Gegard Mousasi is taking on Talis Ladies. So if you don't have Fight Pass, look into it. I think you get a free week or something to check it out. Because I am the MMA savant, I will sometimes spend hours and hours and hours watching videos. And even the old school videos, they got Shuto, Pancrase, Jungle Fights. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of sources, and it's a pretty big well to choose from. So go check out Fight Pass, if you don't have it for whatever reason. But if you're watching the MMA Savant's videos, I'm going to assume you have it. All right, guys, MMA Savant, that was my picks for UFC 195. Carlos Condit is taking on Robbie Lawler. Or I should say, Robbie Lawler is taking on Carlos Condit because he's the main guy. So those are my picks. Please leave a comment below or subscribe if you want to. Tell me what your picks are. Tell me where I went crazy and tell me what I did right. All right, guys, MMA Savant, and I'm out.